Chapter 8, You and I Will Fight to the Death. Bai Xiaochun saw that Su Beokai had already come right up to his door, so he had no choice but to stand straight. You got here fast. His eyes revealed hesitation. Although he had prepared himself for months, he still felt far from ready. His plan had always been to wait until he reached the 4th level of key condensation before facing this safely. But today, his opponent had shown up with 7 or 8 people. Bai Xiaochun knew there was no way to avoid this. Gritting his teeth fiercely, he made his decision. Fight to the death. He took a deep breath, put on 7 or 8 layers of leather jackets, and strapped a spare pot for cooking spirit rice on his back. Only then did he nervously push the door open and step outside. Almost at that very moment, Zhang Debang and his group appeared, brandishing cleavers and ladles as they stood menacingly at the front gate of the kitchen pavilion, facing Su Beokai's crowd. I was wondering why I heard the caw of crows this morning. Turns out it was you little brats from the supervisor pavilion. Bullies who pick on your own sect mates daring to come flaunt yourselves at our kitchen pavilion. Zhang Debang snorted coldly, standing like a small mountain as his voice boomed like thunder. Zhang Debang, others may fear your kitchen pavilion, but our supervisor pavilion does not. We received the grievance of junior brother Su, and today we're here to carry out our duty. You dare resist. The 7 or 8 people besides Su Beokai all wore arrogant expressions. Though their clothes were those of common workers, the characters for supervisor embroidered on their sleeves marked their status and authority. Especially among them, a burly man with the aura of the 3rd level of key condensation radiated spiritual pressure. His cold eyes glanced at Zhang Debang while treating the others as though they were beneath notice. Ridiculous. You tried to kill my junior brother, and still you talk of justice. Zhang Debang sneered, raising his right hand. The massive black cauldron on his back automatically flew up, brimming with rainbow-like momentum, causing the expressions of those beside the burly man to change drastically. The burly man himself narrowed his eyes, quickly performing a hand seal, releasing a small flag that spread thick fog and the faint roars of wild beasts. As the confrontation grew heated, Su Beokai spotted Bai Xiaochun emerging from his hut. His long-suppressed grudge exploded as he roared. Bai Xiaochun Su Beokai charged, his right hand flicking. His flying sword let out a sharp cry as it shot forward. Zhang Debang's group paled, moving to intercept, but the burly man from the supervisor pavilion smirked, stepping in to block them. Yet, just as Su Beokai's words echoed out and his figure lunged, Bai Xiaochun's eyes turned red as he shouted, Su Beokai, you've pushed me too far. You and I will fight to the death. His heart pounded. Never in his life had he fought anyone, let alone a cultivator. At this desperate moment, he roared to build his courage, unleashing his cultivation at the 3rd level of key condensation. Pouring all his spiritual energy into his wooden sword, he thrust it straight toward Su Beokai. The wooden sword hummed. 2 faint silver lines hidden in its dull surface flickered, making the blade suddenly expand in size. A chilling swordlight burst forth, charging directly at Su Beokai. Its speed was terrifying, its momentum overwhelming. Even Zhang Debang's group gasped. What shocked them most was the sharp sword aura spilling outward, enveloping the surroundings. The quarrel between the 2 groups forgotten. All eyes turned toward Bai Xiaochun. Su Beokai hadn't even gotten close. When he was shaken by Bai Xiaochun's sudden display, this Bai Xiaochun was utterly unlike the weakling he remembered from months ago. The fierce, all-out determination he radiated sent a chill through Su Beokai's heart. Then his eyes widened in disbelief. Bai Xiaochun's wooden sword was streaking toward him like a strip of white silk. The sheer force of it was something he had only ever seen when outer sect disciples fought. Fear gripped him, his scalp prickling. With a thunderous crack, Su Beokai's flying sword trembled violently on impact, unable to withstand the force. It shattered instantly into countless fragments. Bai Xiaochun's wooden sword didn't slow in the slightest. Continuing to streak toward Su Beokai, terror seized him. He barely managed to dodge, shrieking as the sword slashed past, embedding itself in a nearby tree. With a resounding boom, the massive tree split nearly in half, collapsing as dust billowed. Su Beokai screamed, blood spraying from his right hand as he staggered backward, face pale. Had Bai Xiaochun mastered his weapon better, that strike could have ended Su Beokai's life. 3rd level of key condensation. Impossible. This is impossible. Su Beokai's face was filled with horror, as though seeing a ghost. To make a wooden sword this powerful required at least a 3rd level of key condensation. How could Bai Xiaochun, in just a few months, transform into someone this terrifying? The thought was nightmarish. Even the burly supervisor pavilion cultivator and his companions inhaled sharply. staring at Bai Xiaochun with grave expressions. He used spiritual condensation to project sword light outward. That's a sign his violet key cauldron technique has reached the realm of lifting weight as though it were light. This is already divine ability level. The burly man muttered, his gaze betraying caution. If even they were shaken, then Zhang Debang's group was utterly dumbfounded. They had noticed Bai Xiaochun reaching the 3rd level of key condensation, but seeing his wooden sword expand and radiate sword light, that was something entirely new to them. Even Bai Xiaochun himself was stunned by the power of his attack. Staring blankly at the fallen tree, then at the pale Su Baokai, he suddenly threw back his head and laughed. Su Baokai, so weak, take another strike from me. Bai Xiaochun, thrilled by his newfound strength, laughed proudly as he advanced. Su Baokai trembled under Bai Xiaochun's gaze. Seeing him laughing and striding forward sent him into a panic. He stumbled backward in fear, crawling desperately to escape. But before he could get far, Bai Xiaochun was already upon him. Memories of being hunted down by Su Baokai and the bitterness of his recent struggles surged in Bai Xiaochun's heart. With a roar, he lifted his foot and stomped down hard. For chasing me, take this. His right fist smashed into Su Baokai's eye, dropping him to the ground with a pitiful scream. Su Baokai tried to resist, but as a mere 2nd level key condensation cultivator, he stood no chance before Bai Xiaochun. You dare mess with me. Let me tell you, I'm not easy prey. Bai Xiaochun shouted, raining punches and kicks down. Su Baokai howled miserably, unable to fight back. Bang, bang. The sounds echoed in all directions. Whether supervisor pavilion or kitchen pavilion, everyone stood frozen, watching Su Baokai being pummeled while Bai Xiaochun grew more and more excited. Fear filled their hearts. Su Baokai's tears flowed. He could hardly believe that in just a few months, Bai Xiaochun had grown this strong, especially that divine ability such mastery shouldn't be possible without years of cultivation. In his eyes, Bai Xiaochun must have come from an extraordinary background, hiding his strength all along, pretending to be weak, and he had fallen for it completely. The thought left him heartsick. Overwhelmed with rage and despair, his vision darkened, and he fainted. Only when Su Baokai lay unconscious did Bai Xiaochun step back, dust off his clothes, and summon his wooden sword back into his sleeve. He tried to look aloof, hiding the excitement still gleaming in his eyes. The burly supervisor pavilion cultivator looked deeply at Bai Xiaochun, his face unreadable, before finally cupping his fists. Junior brother Bai hides his strength well. Truly admirable. With that, he turned without hesitation, carrying the unconscious Su Baokai away. Only after they departed did Zhang Dubang's group approach Bai Xiaochun with delighted expressions. Unlike outsiders, they knew how hard Bai Xiaochun had worked these past months, and their respect for him grew. You've done well, kid. That half-year of desperate effort wasn't wasted. Zhang Debang clapped Bai Xiaochun's shoulder. That's right. I had to fight against my own fear. Bai Xiaochun said smugly, lifting his chin like a proud rooster, laughing alongside them.